girl Brittany here, and welcome to BrittPositivePodcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope everyone is doing amazing out there. To keep up with us here, you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and you can listen to us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and Anchor. Now, if you're listening to us on YouTube, then click that subscribe button and notification bell as well to get notified to see when we have posted. And if you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple, or Anchor, then you can click the follow button to join the Brit Positive Fam Bam and download this podcast so you can listen to it on the go. All the links are down below so you can join in spreading the positivity with us. You can also check out our merch store. We have a couple of cool merches there that you guys can rock and showing your positivity and spreading it and being a part of the Brit Positive Fam Bam. So check us out there too. Now, our Brit Positive quote of the day. Once you replace negative thoughts with positive ones, you'll start having positive results. Thought this was very encouraging for you guys to just challenge yourself. And this is by Willie Nelson. Now, let's get into our topic of the day. Our topic of the day is update/let's catch up. So I have been gone for a minute due to a recent death in my family. The cause of it was from COVID, and it just made me want to take a pause on everything. I mean, with everything that's going on, I mean, especially finding that COVID took away one of my loved ones, it was just hard to kind of deal with that, because not only that you're dealing with a death, but like we weren't able to travel and be there for the funeral, like physically, and be around our families to help mourn, during that time. So it was definitely challenging and having to deal with that. And for those who are out there listening and have experienced losing a loved one due to COVID, my heart goes out to you guys, and I honestly will be keeping you guys in my prayers and just hoping that there's time in healing. With time there is healing from this, but I can understand this is like a different challenge of mourning somebody, because usually when anyone who passes away, you just want to go and pay your respects and say your goodbyes and be with your loved ones to go through that. And yet with COVID, it has taken a lot from us, and I know we're all working our way trying to go back to civilization with vaccines and, things like that. But still, there's some restrictions. Well, over here in Canada, there are. And it's just been hard to just kind of not be able to do what you would normally do in a time like this. So that was just something new for me to just experience personally. And I mean, I've always showed, sincere, condolences for anyone who's experienced that. But then, of course, it really does hit different when you're experiencing it yourself. So, I definitely get it. And I am sorry for those who also experience this. It's not easy. It is not fun. It's not nice whatsoever, but it does take time. I really believe it takes time to deal with it, because during that time for me, I had to grieve, I had to reminisce and all that. But what really hurt me the most was not being with my family during that time. And I mean, what helped me though, I would say, and what I still try to do is like keep myself a bit busy, talk with my relatives, hear from one another and how one another's doing. Prayer has been a big help for me as well, just taking that time to pray and ask God for peace, because I feel like, the times where you feel most lonely, He's there. We just need to take that time to like turn our heads and be like, oh, God is right here with me during this time. So that's one of the things that I've been doing a lot, is just taking that one-on-one time with God, because I'm also learning like life is very fragile. I think a lot of us might get up and think we know what the next day is gonna bring, but like we genuinely don't know, because like no one has lived to see it, and that's another thing I've been learning lately, is just really taking things one day at a time. It's been my motto, actually, one day at a time. I never thought I would be this person saying that, but it really is, because you only have that one day. So, I make use of it and do what I can in it, try to feel it out, try to go against how I feel, because sometimes you might wake up and you feel down, and usually that kind of ruins your day overall, because you're just trudging through with the bad mood. But I've been trying this little exercise where it's like go against how you feel, but be wise about it, of course. So like if you feel down, but you in your mind are like, I need to get up and finish my essay. It's like, get up and finish your essay, even if you feel like you don't want to do it, because you'll feel better knowing that you actually got up and went to do it as against going with the feeling of not getting up. It's one of those things you just have to work on and fight. It's a fight. It's an everyday fight. But the best part in that fight in your mind is to know that you can do it. I think a lot of us think we can't do things based on how we feel, based off of past experience. It's like we give up easily. But it's like, it's all in our minds, and that's another thing I was learning during this break of mine, is just like how to get your mind to just like be your best friend, be your cheerleader instead of being the person to like bring you down, because it's a lot of the times when we get in our heads about things, it's in our heads, and then that affects how we do things in our day-to-day life. And it's always like when you think of psychiatrists and therapists and all of those people who will sit with us and try to work with us, it's all of them trying to just reorganize our mind to think a certain way, because it's somehow on its own structured to think it's the other way. And even that, I encourage you guys to take the time to be mindful of your thoughts and to start trying to take back that control and not just let your mind rule you in a way, but like know that you can rule your mind. What helps me do that is like praying and like reading the Bible. That's just for me. Like, to each their own is what I would usually say, if those who may disagree. But this works for me, where the Bible kind of like helps me set that mind of my mindset of how I'm supposed to think, based off of what God thinks of me. And that's very encouraging for me to just kind of be like, my creator who made me, this is what he says about me. And this just helps me fight against any thoughts that say anything otherwise, And that's something that I've been working on personally, that's been helping me just kind of like get back to being present and living again. Because I think with all that's been happening, especially with COVID and then the whole passing of my relative, it's just one of those things where you kind of sit and you're like, it makes you think a lot, it makes you get sad, it makes you feel angry. Like, you're gonna feel a lot of emotions during this time. And of course, even when death is involved, and especially when it's the fact of this whole pandemic, what caused the death, it's another level of like, oh, come on, So I'm just here, honestly, I'm just sharing with you guys what I've been through and like what I've been doing to kind of just help me get out of those funks. And I hope they are encouraging for you guys. At the end of the day, really, we're all human and we're gonna run into challenges. And what I really like about this show is not to sugarcoat anything, like everything's rainbow and sunshine. It's like we go through some pretty rough things, and whether it's like relationship, whether it's being indecisive, whether it's even, times that we need a break, or, how we're dealing with COVID and, all those things, there's always going to be something. But it's like with being positive about it is hoping and fighting against the negative, hoping and believing that good is coming. And I truly believe that because of my belief in God. And that's what helps me get out of those rough patches. And if I'm even just able to encourage you guys to not give up and let me, encourage you guys to go every day knowing you can do it. It's not me saying it because I'm like, yay, you can do it. I truly believe you can. And you just got to change the way you're thinking, because it's the same thing I have to be doing. And I really do suggest things that work for me. And if it can help you, great. If you can't, then we'll figure something else out. But there's always a solution to a problem. I truly believe that. And, just know that you guys, like during times like these, especially when there's a passing of a relative, really take that time to be with whoever you can be, whether it's your friends or your relatives, maybe not the ones that are far away, but the ones that are already with you because they're mourning as well. Express your feelings. Don't keep them trapped in a box, because then it's just gonna create like a tornado inside you, and you don't know when it's gonna like just go all over the place. So it's really good to just take that time to really get in tune with your feelings and thoughts. I think for me personally, like, there was a couple of weeks where I just kind of like shut everything off. I just was like I didn't want to feel sad. I didn't want to feel anything. And it just made things a bit worse because, that's when it was just overflowing a bit. So it's like I took that time to like really write down everything to the core. And I believe writing things down is very therapeutic. So if you guys have the chance, grab a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen, and don't worry about writing it a certain way or anything. Just write it down. Write every single thing you're thinking, you're feeling. And it's like, it's actually, you just feel like a difference, like something left your body, But also too, I know that I'm the type that's like, if something that I tried didn't work, I'm going to try something else. Like, I keep finding something to help me release whatever it is, because, it depends. Maybe something else will work better than the thing that worked last time. Like, you don't know like how you're going to get rid of it. You just try different things until you feel that difference. And so for me, it was writing that did some help for me. And then listening to music, it helped me feel what I was fighting not to feel. And, even reading a book kind of helped relax me. You get things to kind of help you, deal with the whole emotional roller coaster that you may be feeling. So it's good to have things in those times to kind of just help you go through it. Like, another thing too is like my friends. They were such a great support system. I was able to really express how I felt with my close friends, and even my church, like asking them to pray. So it's good to have community. So that's another like advice I would give to anyone who's dealt with any death during this time in 2020 or 2021, or death in general. To just surround yourself with people. And they may not say the right things, of course, because like there's really nothing right to say when someone passes. It's kind of just, it is what it is, but it still does something to know you have people that surrounds you and loves you. It brings you to a safe place, and it brings you to a place of like knowing you're not alone. This happens to everybody, and you're gonna get through it. It's always good to have people at least remind you that. You might not be thinking about it at the time because you're feeling so much, but definitely when someone is like, you're going to get through this, like, you're going to be okay, it is helping, because then, in a matter of a couple of months, you're realizing it's been a couple of months since that person passed away, and I'm still here. Like, I'm getting through it. Like, I have my good days and bad days, but, I'm alive. I'm going, I'm still going. And that in itself is just very, I would find another positive for you guys to kind of keep in mind, because I think we tend to forget that every day is a gift, and we tend to just look at a lot of the bad and not focus on the good. So when you surround yourself by people who do that as well for you in that time where you're maybe not being able to do it for yourself, it's very, encouraging and uplifting for you deep down. You may not see it now, but you'll come to your mind saying, you know what, I remember my friend saying, do this and do that, and like just encouraging words. And you just see the difference of like how your mood changes for at least that time and going forth. It all comes down to you eventually getting to see the positive results that you are hoping to see at the end of the day, So yeah, that has been what I've been going through, and these are just a few suggestions I have for you guys to try if you're also going through this, and just know that you're not alone. And my prayers and hope and positivity is with you guys, and I just pray that everyone does well and are doing well during this time and are being safe. And also just remember to be there for one another. You don't know what someone's going through, whether it's a death in the family, or whether they're still feeling anxious or depressed about COVID. Just kind of take that time to take care of yourself, of course, first, but also, people need people. I truly believe that. So, reach a hand out, to a friend, relative, whoever. It can be even a coworker, and just, check on them, make sure they're okay, and, lend them an ear. Sometimes people just want someone to listen. Sometimes they want advice. You guys can determine what kind of conversation that might be with you guys, between you and them. But just remember to, show that love and support with one another, because it has been still a rocky time for a lot of us. But knowing that we can do it and get through it together is the thing that I believe uplifts us the most, is just knowing that we're all together in this and that we're going to all make it through. We just have to, it's okay to lean on each other and just have that around. It's really important, and I truly believe it will help us get through this tough time, and we will get through it. I truly believe that as well. Well, thank you guys so much for listening to this podcast. We have many more on our way, so can't wait for you guys to check those out. We'll be back on our regular schedule bi-weekly Thursdays. I have a couple of guest co-hosts showing up for you guys so that we can just have some things to laugh about, talk about, and look for the positive as well. So thank you guys for listening. You can click like and subscribe and follow button if you enjoyed this podcast. Show your support, and check us out on Instagram for any news, and Twitter for any news on our podcast, any updates. We will let you guys know all the news stuff over there. Thank you again for listening. See you guys next time. Bye.